So I've got a sample of Fragrance One Office for Men. Today we're going to be reviewing this fragrance. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, things like that. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's jump into this. So I was actually contemplating whether or not I actually wanted to record a review on this fragrance. For myself, I've wanted to get my nose on it in one way, and I had my friend Cody send me over a sample of it because I was genuinely curious to see what it smells like. So for me, I wanted to experience it, but whether or not I wanted to record a video on it, I wasn't for sure. And the main reason why that is because I know how passionate people are over the topic of Jeremy fragrance. Whether I give it a good review, a bad review, a neutral review, I know I'm going to get dislikes and hate. And it really kind of made me think, well, no matter what I say about the fragrance, I'm going to get dislikes, I'm going to get hate, so I might as well just do a review on it anyway. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to keep it honest. This is going to be an unbiased review. I didn't purchase the fragrance, so I don't have any sort of bias there where I paid money for it and now I like it a little bit more. Didn't purchase this. I didn't even purchase the sample. My friend Cody and I did a swap, so I sent him some stuff. He sent me a sample of this. So trying to keep it as unbiased as possible. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on it, what I think about it, if I think it's worth the price, and so on. And one more quick thing I want to toss out there before we get started. I don't have it out for Jeremy fragrance. I don't have a bone to pick with him or anything. I'm not going to be like bashing the fragrance just to bash it if I actually think it's nice, because I know a lot of reviews are probably going to end up going in that direction, not only on YouTube, but just on Facebook and people talking about it. So like I said, I'm not out to get them or anything. I'm just going to share my honest opinion on what I think of this fragrance. Also, I'm sorry I don't have a bottle to look at the full presentation. I just got the sample here. That's what I'm working with. In the opening of Office for Men by Jeremy Fragrance, what I get hit with right away is bergamot and a little bit of a peppery quality. The bergamot is nice and tart. There's a little bit of a peppery spiciness, and soon after that, a little bit of iris comes in. And to me, I think that's what throws it off a little bit. This fragrance has a very aromatic and somewhat light quality throughout the whole scent for the most part. It's not quite as strong and as in your face as I was expecting it to be. It is a little bit light, almost a little bit transparent smelling. Some ambroxan is present, but it's not overwhelming. To me, what I'm getting mostly is that bergamot, touch of iris, and some musk, woods, and a little bit of a peppery undertone. Do I think it smells nice? Yes, I do. I think it smells pleasant, but did it blow me away when I first sprayed this on? Not at all. I was actually a little bit underwhelmed when I first sprayed this and I first tried it. I was just expecting it to be a little bit more in your face, maybe a little bit stronger. Like I said, there's a little bit of a transparent aromatic quality to it, which I wasn't really expecting to get from this scent. I was expecting it to be stronger. And overall, I guess in my head, I was expecting it to be a little bit different than what I actually smelled. But nonetheless, it does still smell nice. I've heard some people say that it does have a niche appeal to it, like a little bit of a niche quality to it in the terms of, how it smells. Like it doesn't smell full on like designer scents. I personally don't really get that. To me, to my nose, this smells like a mix of a few different popular fragrances. I really probably don't have to go over them, but I will anyway. Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, Aqua de Jo, Bulgari Aqua Atlantique, kind of all of those. It takes little nuances from each of those and kind of puts it into one. With that being said, though, I don't think it is as simple as saying, oh, it's a combination of all those fragrances together, because it's not quite that way. I don't see it that way anyways, but it does fit into that same type of scent. In the dry down, it gets a little bit sweeter. There's that nice woody dry down with some musk, a little bit of pepper, and the iris and ambroxan. The bergamot does still maintain throughout a lot of the scent, but towards the end, it does start to get undetectable to my nose. So like I mentioned, I do like the scent. I think it smells pleasant. I think it smells nice, but to me, it smells light. I was expecting something that was stronger. I know when Jeremy was talking about it, he was saying it'll burn your nose and, whatever else he was saying. So I was expecting something very strong, very peppery, kind of more along the lines of Sauvage, and the fact that this is very in your face, very strong. I don't really get that from Office for Men though. I get more of a transparent and light quality than anything. I have found that this does cause olfactory fatigue relatively quickly, so that was something I had to keep in mind when I was testing it. I know a few other people were mentioning that as well. There is a lot of ambroxan, there is a lot of musks, a lot of molecules. Typically with fragrances like that, you're going to go anosmic to them quickly, so that's just something to keep in mind. So I would touch on the category, when could you wear this fragrance, but I think we all know the answer to that. It's in the name of the fragrance. It's an office fragrance. It's a very versatile, mass-pleasing, easy-to-wear fragrance that is obviously designed for wearing it to work. And I think in that case, it does great. I can see why maybe they did go a little bit more towards the aromatic and light route in terms of this fragrance, because it is an office scent, a work scent. You don't want something that's going to be too piercing, too strong, that's going to annoy your coworkers. But at the same time, I don't understand why they would say that this fragrance pierces your nose and it's so strong and so on and so forth, and describe it that way when you get the fragrance and it's not really that strong. It is very transparent, light. There's nothing wrong with that, because again, for the office, that's perfect. Just don't market it as being, a super strong, super potent fragrance that's going to burn your nose or whatever he was claiming that it would do. Performance, I got about 5 to 6 hours longevity from this fragrance. And again, that was taking into account one, that this is a sample. So I did, a few extra sprays, because the actual bottle itself is going to spray out more juice at a time than, an atomizer like this. So I did a few extra sprays where I was applying it. And two, I was also taking into account olfactory fatigue. I made sure to have my girlfriend test it when I was, wearing it. I would ask her if she could still smell it on my skin. And at about the 6 hour mark or so, that's when it started to get pretty much undetectable, and I couldn't really smell it anymore, and neither could anyone else around me. I'm sure it's a skin chemistry thing. Some of you out there may get better performance. Some of you out there may get worse performance. For me, though, about that 5 to 6 hour range is what I got for longevity. Projection-wise, it did push out a little bit within the first hour or so that I applied it, but it did start to die down closer to my skin pretty quickly. Not a full-on skin scent, but it does lay a little bit closer to the skin. One thing that I did notice, though, was it did create a nice scent trail, a nice sillage. So when you're walking, it'll leave a nice trail. And I'm sure that's what they were going for, being that it is a scent for the office. You don't want something that's too loud, but you want something that will linger just a little bit. And this is what that fragrance does. So now let's get into the most important part, the compliment factor. How is this fragrance going to do for compliments? It's going to do fine. This fragrance, like I said, does have a lot of the tropes of your Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, Acqua di Gio, all of those types of fragrances. I'm not saying that it is a mixture of all of those, because still to my nose it's not, even though some people are kind of summing it up by saying that it is mixing all those fragrances together. I personally don't think that, but I do think it does slot right in with those fragrances. And the trend for those fragrances is, getting a lot of positive feedback. And again, that's what I think this fragrance is going to do as well. It smells nice. It smells pleasant. It's light, so it's not going to really annoy anyone. I think it's going to do fine for compliments. Do I think that there are better fragrances out there for the price that will get you just as many compliments, if not more? Yes, I do. But nonetheless, if you are wanting to pick up this fragrance and you're worried, maybe it's not going to get you compliments, maybe people are going to dislike it, you should be fine. I really don't think anyone is going to dislike it. And by that, I'm talking about people outside of the community who have no idea who Jeremy Fragrance is and don't care about any of the drama. All they care about is whether or not it smells good. In that regard, I really don't think anyone's going to turn their nose away to it and say, oh, that doesn't smell good. In FragCom, people hating on it is a different story. But if you're worried about getting positive attention, just out and about in the public, this is going to do good for you. Let's go ahead and touch on the price. At this time on the website, it is going for $197 for a 100 ml bottle, and we still don't know what the actual new bottle will look like. Do I think it's worth $197? I believe when it was first launched and people were doing the pre-orders with that, the standard bottle, it was $120 or somewhere around there. And that's better, in my opinion. Still probably not really worth $120. I would pay maybe $60, $50 for this, maybe $70 on a good day. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm not trying to bash them. They can price this at whatever they want. I'm just saying, with a fragrance like this, I don't really think there's anything overly special where you need to be charging that much money for it. Again, it's not a super strong fragrance on my skin, both in performance and just scent profile. It is light, it is aromatic, transparent. It doesn't last the longest. It does smell pleasant, but also there are a lot of other fragrances that smell pleasant that you can get for way cheaper than $197. So no, I don't think it's worth that price. I don't really know what they're doing there. More power to them. If they want to charge that much for it, that's fine. I'm not going to be picking up a bottle. I am going to be trying to split some at some point once it becomes available, but that's really about it. And that's pretty much my thoughts on Office for Men. Those of you who out there have tried it, let me know what you think of it down below. And to all the haters out there, I understand that probably the majority of them haven't actually smelled this fragrance yet, because I don't think any of the haters really bought bottles. So I don't really think that they've actually smelled it. So maybe just dial it back before you go and decide to write your hate comment about Jeremy Fragrance and about his fragrance, or about me, since I'm talking about it and now you hate me too. Maybe dial it back, because chances are you probably haven't even smelled it yet. You don't know what this smells like. You don't know how it performs or anything like that. So just take a deep breath, chill out, it'll all be okay. And on the opposite end of that, all of the hardcore Jeremy Fragrance fans who are saying that this is the best fragrance ever, hopefully you've smelled it. I still think that maybe a lot of you haven't. So again, maybe dial it down a little bit. Look at it from an objective standpoint. Would you pay $197 for this? And would you recommend your friends and your family to pay $197 for this because it's the best fragrance ever? That's really how you have to look at it. And I think a lot of people do tend to disregard that just because they are a fan of Jeremy so much, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you just kind of had to take a step back and be honest with yourself. I'm just trying to give an unbiased opinion on the scent and on the whole situation. So guys, that is it. That's my review on Jeremy Fragrance 1 Office for Men. Like I said, those of you who have tried it, let me know what you think of it down below. Those of you who haven't tried it, I don't know. You can leave your comments down below, I guess. And that's going to do it, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, turn on post notifications so you don't miss an I post. And that's it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.